So, did anyone else feel an overwhelming sense of dread when the clock struck midnight on New Year's? Because I know I certainly did, because 2024 is going to be a year that will almost certainly change the trajectory of our country's future in a significant way, for better or worse. And the direction we go this year will be decided by the presidential election ultimately. And it looks like we are set to see a rematch between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And with each passing day, that prospect gets more and more demoralizing. And I'm going to explain why, if it's not already obvious. First and foremost, Trump is a literal threat to U.S. democracy. There are people who try to downplay the threat that he poses, but he does pose a threat. And when historians say that what he is doing and saying is similar to what we've seen previous dictators around the globe do, I listen to them.
Also pretty sickening to see liberals weaponizing Trump against Muslim and Arab Americans for not wanting to vote for Genocide Joe and going all white savior as if voting for blue MAGA has made anyone's lives better. Well, I will tell you something. The fact of the matter is that we cut child poverty in half, by 45%, 40%. I think that makes a difference to people's lives. Biden hasn't done nearly enough in terms of student debt relief, but for 3 million people, yes, it made a difference. The idea that Medicaid expansion was promoted under Biden, yes, that makes a huge difference. The idea that the National Labor Relations Board has made unionizing easier, yes, that makes a difference. For millions of people who stand to gain Social Security and worker protections because of the Labor Board decision today, yes, that makes a difference. I mean, on balance, I'm sorry. The fact is, yes, there have been many more people's lives who've been made better by having a Democratic administration versus a Republican administration.
I got a bunch of emails from people saying, sorry, David, Trump is going to win, MAGA 2024, this sort of thing, relating to me personally. This has nothing to do with me, and it's really important to understand. I have almost zero influence over this election. I don't want to say zero, like I have a show, and I know that there are some people who called in and said, hey, you know what? I was going to vote third party, but I'm going to vote Biden because I understand the risk. Or I was going to stay home and I'm going to go vote Biden because I understand the risk. You're not hurting. If Trump wins, I'm not really the person who gets hurt, right? I mean, I live in a blue state, and a lot of the crazy stuff that President Trump would do will affect me way less living in a blue state. My financial situation is fine. I'm completely stable financially. And unless Trump tries to come take my money, I'm going to be fine, right? You're not really getting one over on me if Trump wins. It's not for my benefit that I want Joe Biden to win. It's for the benefit of the country. I think it would be better for the country if Biden wins. So the people who write to me and go, David, have you seen these polls? Your guy's going to lose. Ha, ha, ha. This isn't about me. I'm not the one who wields the influence, and I'm not the one who's going to be overwhelmingly affected here. It's going to be a disaster for what this country is supposedly founded on. The people writing to me will suffer at least as much, if not more than I will. So this isn't a personal thing.
Yeah. But putting aside Trump's corruption and criminality and general stupidity, it's not just going to be a tumultuous 4 years of him if he gets elected again. It's not just more Supreme Court justices. He is going to dismantle the administrative state and permanently change the structure of our government and institutions. That is a problem. He's open about his plans to attack democracy and dismantle institutions, and currently he's the favorite to win. Keep that in mind. So ask yourself, how is it even possible that someone so terrible, a fucking cartoon character, could be leading in polls right now? It's got to say at least something about his opponent, does it not? And I'd argue it does. Much like his predecessor, Joe Biden is complicit in genocide. More than 20,000 Gazans have been murdered by Israel. Netanyahu cabinet members have expressed genocidal intent and admitted that ethnic cleansing is their end goal. And Biden still will not tell them to stop. In fact, he bypassed Congress to sell them even more weapons that they will inevitably use on innocent civilians in Gaza. But don't worry, guys. He told them to end the mass civilian deaths while he was giving them more weapons that they'll use to blow up civilians. So it's all good, apparently. apparently. And to say that his support for Israel has been catastrophic would be an understatement. At the time that I record this video in January of 2024, he has now lost the support of Arab Americans in key swing states like Michigan. He's lost the support of Black voters, Latino voters. He's lost the support of young voters who are sympathetic to the plight of the Palestinian people, but he is still not telling Israel to stop. Now, liberals might respond and point out that this rhetoric that he's been using lately has at least started to shift in regard to Israel's genocide. And yes, that's true, but we don't need him to talk the talk. We need him to walk the fucking walk.
It is not revolutionary. Some of these changes are incremental. And you may argue that and certainly in the lives of some people, it is not made better without a doubt. But I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think I personally am not someone who has ever really cared about the Democratic Party beyond whether that party or candidate is going to move in the direction of issues that I support. So I don't know what to tell you. Biden has continued a lot of the policies introduced under Trump. That's true. He's also reversed a lot of policies that have existed under Trump.
Arguing zero difference is just not useful. Also, I think arguing what people should do one way or the other on election day isn't useful. Like I'm coming back to the idea that like the private ballot, I think people should just, and then move on to like, what else are you doing? Are you joining some sort of progressive or socialist group? Are you phone banking for some, like what else is going on besides where are people putting their moral chit on election day that apparently determines everything about people's politics? I think it's just massively overstated. And so like, okay, people don't vote for Biden. They're not empowered anymore. They might feel better about themselves and might have a little bit more free time on election day. But like, what else? This conversation gets short-circuited by the voting day consideration, in my opinion.
Right.